Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is great to see you all this morning. It has been I said a real doozy of a last 24 hours, and I actually woke up less than an hour ago, and let's run, let's hurry up, let's get it done. And let's see what in the world is going to come out on a Facebook Live event that you have no idea what you're going to be talking about. So it is really entertaining. I actually did, let me take a piece of paper, let me write a couple of notes, because maybe that will get my soul talking to me, because I had no freaking idea. So it's really entertaining. Good morning, David and Ava and Aaron and Robin, Regina. It is great to see you all. You know, it's very entertaining. Eva, it's great to see you, because as I sat down for, what are we going to talk about, is like, what do you do when things go crazy? What do you do when you have this plan? This is how things are going to go. And then every step of the way, something gets sidetracked or goes haywire or goes screwy. What in the world do you do? How do you make a new plan? How do you go with the flow? How do you stay in the place where you can kind of laugh? So I can't let this one go, because this one is so entertaining, and I'm probably going to giggle a couple of times in the next few minutes, because yesterday I was out in the afternoon and I came home to find out that my dog, a lot of you have seen her on my Facebook Live, my dog Jasmine, who is a 14-year-old miniature dachshund, who's not very miniature, but I came home to find out that she had been throwing up. Good morning, Karen and Catherine. It's great to see you guys. And she, every once in a while, she's probably done this, she does it maybe twice a year or something like that, but she was not feeling well. And, we normally sit and watch television to decompress at night, and she goes right to sleep and it's all good. And she was not having any of that. She kept getting off of the sofa and kind of, being uncomfortable and miserable and things like that. And so I just hoped that it was going to be something that resolved itself before midnight. That was not to be the case. And Jasmine continued to get sick, and I kept going, should I take her to the vet? Maybe I should get David up. Should I take her to the vet? Oh, let me just clean this up. And I just kept hearing, right? The trust, trust, trust. And I am literally going back and forth. Okay, I know I'm supposed to trust, but holy cow, what if I wake up, I happen to fall asleep and I wake up finding her dead on the floor in a pool of blood, right? That's where our brains go, right? Our brains go to that really crazy thought. And I kept saying, okay, whatever that picture is, let me move more of that. However, whatever is getting me to think like that, let me just keep healing that, because that's not serving me. I don't want to have that go down that path of what could happen, right, if I happen to fall asleep. And so about 3:30, she got kind of comfortable, and I got comfortable. I fell asleep and I woke up about 8 o'clock this morning. So I have plans, right? There's things to do. I've got things next. And so I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about this morning. And I swear I'm sitting next to, 85-year-old man here. Actually, she's something like 95. As I hear her just passing gas, those little ones that are just loud and you can't help but giggle. And so I'm like, that is exactly what we're going to be talking about. How things get crazy and you think you're moving forward, you think you're going to the right, and you're suddenly taking a sharp turn to the left. And the question is, how are you going to manage it? How are you going to feel about it? And can you laugh, right? So I literally just sat here and giggled, because I could just see this 95-year-old man sitting here just passing gas, happy as a lark. Obviously, that's what she needs to do, but it's can we, can we go with the flow? I wish you all could appreciate it. And I guess the really nice thing is that the smells never bother me. So it might be absolutely miserable, but I have to say this is the first time I've talked about farting on my morning talk. So good morning, Hadar and Laura and Jamie and Chelsea and Millie and Jackie. It is great to see you guys. And it's really, this is about when you have a plan where you go, I know exactly what I'm doing. I, am going to come home. I'm going to have an incredible dinner. Tomorrow night is actually my husband's birthday, and I had cooked all day yesterday thinking, yes, I'm going to come home. We're going to have a great dinner. We're all going to sit around, and drink wine and eat good food, and it's all going to be fabulous. And that isn't how it happened. That isn't how it showed up at all. Instead, it was mismatched and eating at the counter and no wine, and it's just all crazy, right? Good morning, Shannon and Chelsea and Cornelia. It's great to see all of you. So it was an absolutely crazy evening. So I don't know why I was thinking that I would have a really calm, easy night or a calm morning, but run. I'm sure all of you can relate. And for those of you that have kids or pets, you certainly know how this happens, because in my experience, it doesn't really matter whether we're talking about children or we're talking about animals. We feel the exact same way, and we really get geared up, revved up about our animals, right? Just as much as we do about our kids or family members or anything like that. So here's my suggestion. Here's the useful information now that we're done talking about farts. Yes, Eva, it really is kind of entertaining. Here's the piece. The first thing is we want to practice stopping and reading the energy. What is going on here? Let me take a pause and let me look at the energy. Let me look at what's going on. So for my dog, Jasmine, what I did was I kept looking, like, let me see what is something that I can heal on her? What is something I can do to help her? How can I make her more comfortable? And for me, that shows up as in the physical, like, what can I do to make her comfortable? Does she need a blanket? She likes to lay on the sofa. Let me put her there. Let me not get annoyed that she's not able to get up and down the sofa by herself. But it's like, let me not get annoyed that I have to pick her up and put her down, and then go figure out where she is and pick her up and put her back on the sofa and then put her back down, right? Let me not get annoyed that my kid is, my child is ruining my night, my romantic evening that I was about to go on, that kind of thing. Let me not get aggravated that I go out to start my car and my car doesn't start. It's like, okay, that's what's next. So how do I go from here? Why is this thing happening, and how can I help it move forward, right? What do I need to do to move forward? So for me, I started giving my dog some healings and working on moving what I saw. And I was just specifically reading the energy and trusting as much as I could what was coming up. Because my thing sometimes is, I'll look at something, I'll, like, for example, look at my dog and go, oh, I know exactly what that is. She has a gas bubble, and she has a whole bunch of low frequencies in her system, and I just want to keep moving those out, right? I want to keep creating a container and moving them out, and reassigning the beings and giving her healings, right? I just want to keep doing that. But in the midst of that, I have this conversation going on in my head of, am I screwing this up? Am I making this worse? Do I need to contact somebody else? I'm sure someone else would do a better job of this than I would. And I certainly had that last night. And I have a healer that I work with that I had texted like, hey, can you, because I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can help her. I don't know if I'm powerful enough to help my dog. So I recognize that showing up in me. And so as I'm freaking out over here, texting somebody, hey, help, I need help, I'm also over on this side busy going, can I please have a healing on that? Can I please have some help with that? Because I don't want to always sit in a place where I don't think I can do this. I'm not capable. Somebody else is better at doing that. Because that's actually not the truth of me. And it's really, really not the truth of you. It's not the truth of any of you who ever tune into my videos. It is not the truth that you can't handle it. It is the truth that it's like all this fear running around going, oh my gosh, in my case, I'm going to kill my dog. Oh my gosh, there's going to be something awful that happens. I'm not going to be able to handle this. I'm not going to know what to do, right? That is the fear that's like getting stirred up in me, right? Hopefully you all can see that, how we go into like a, and it's fear that you can't handle it, fear that something is going to happen, that you're going to lose control. There's so many different kinds of fears that show up. So that absolutely shows up for all of us, right? And so I did that. I did that last night. Last night I was right in the middle of that. And then what shows up for me, you know, possibly not for you, is the, you've got to be kidding me. This is going to happen tonight. I can see that I'm not going to get a good night's sleep. I can see that life is going to be miserable tomorrow. I start filling in all of the future events, right? This is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to go down. And I start creating what the night is going to look like. Does that make sense? Good morning, Jill. It's great to see you. I start creating what the morning is going to look like, and what the evening was going to look like last night, right? I start creating it because I'm powerful. You're powerful. You are in your head going, this is what it's going to look like. I know she's going to continue to do this for the rest of the night. She's going to get up on the bed, get down off the bed. She's going to throw up. I'm going to have to clean it up. Then she's going to, right? It's 8 o'clock at night. I have no idea what the night is going to be like, but I'm busy creating it, right? Can you see how we all do that? We have a meeting with our boss, you know, at 2 p.m. today. What are we doing? We're in our heads creating the whole conversation, and we're having those conversations, and we'll do the version that's like everything goes really well, and then we'll do the version that everything falls apart, right? Perhaps you have something else going on in your life. You know, there is an awesome thing that is happening, and you're busy creating that too. We are that freaking powerful. All of us, every single person on the planet is that powerful. That's how we create. That's how we move into what's next for us, right? We sit there and we create it. No surprise to me whatsoever that that is exactly what happened last night, right? She was miserable, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then about 1 o'clock, she got sick again. And it was just like, now what do I do? Do I take her to the vet? Do I stay home? Do I wake David up to take her to the vet? Or do I go back to sleep? Right? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I finally said, you know what? I need to practice what I talk about. Hey, what a concept. I need to practice what I talk about. And I actually just sat down on the sofa and said, okay, let's look at this. Let's move out that I'm going to get it wrong, right? Let me move out that fear that my dog is going to die in the next couple of hours and it's going to all be my fault. Let me move more of the fear and the pain and all of those pictures, right? All of us probably have experienced death in one way or another. So that fear is huge, right? And I just sat down and I took a few deep breaths and I was just like, okay, so what do I know? I know that I can take her to the vet at any time. Am I taking her to the vet? I asked the question, am I taking her to the vet? No. Okay. Can I trust that? Yes. That's where I go. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to take her to the vet because it's inconvenient. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll have to get dressed. Da, 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 right? I start playing that story in my head. Maybe I'm the only one that does this, but I was like, okay, I'm not taking her to the vet. What am I doing now? Okay, you're gonna sit here for a little while. Just relax, relax, relax. Okay. And then I heard, gonna go to bed. It's gonna be okay. Go to bed. Gonna trust. Hey, Felonice, it's great to see you this morning. I'm gonna trust that this is what's next. And so probably about 3:30 I was able to go to sleep, and it was all lovely and perfect. But I sat and I read the energy and I took the time to calm down and listen, right? I needed to listen. I needed to ask questions. I needed to be in a place where I could ask questions out loud and get an answer. That's me, right? That's how I work. I need to be able to say, am I taking her to the vet out loud? And the answer was, no, you're not. She's going to be fine. Okay, then I need to get rid of whatever is gearing me up. Because, who would guess that I would actually stay completely awake for that long a period of time? But I was just revved up, right? Listening. Oh my God, what's she doing now? What's going on? My brain was going 90 miles an hour. That happens to all of us on whatever subject it happens to show up. So it is very much okay. I'm good. I'm calm. Everything is going to be fine. And that's exactly what happened. And she is fine, and she has eaten some food. And we're just going to keep watching her. And I have to remind myself, oh yeah, my kids used to do this, right? They used to get sick, and I had to just sit and watch them. I had to be okay with, okay, just trust that it's all good, that it's all going to happen. So I sat and read the energy, and I gave myself the healings, right? I asked for help. If you're someone who doesn't have any idea what I'm talking about, remember, you can always ask for help. You can always ask for a healing. Can I have some help with moving this fear? We don't always know that we have that ability to ask for help, but we absolutely do. And so like I said, it's just kind of a funny situation to be sitting next to your dog and your dog just passing gas, getting better, more better. She's getting better at the longer that I sit here. So I'm just going to trust that. So we want to, when things get crazy, right? We want to sit and we want to read the energy. We want to look at the situation, and as much as possible, step out of the situation and give yourself the time and the help that you need in order to look at it with fresh eyes, right? Because in the middle of something happening, in the middle of your child getting sick, or maybe it's, your kid's been called down to the principal's office because they've been fighting. I don't know where that analogy comes from. There's so many different things in the middle of an office fight, not literally a fist fight, but, a fight where one boss is arguing with another boss and you're like caught in the middle. It's like, what do I do? How do I look at this? How do I be in a peaceful place here? And the very first thing is to take a step out and start to read the energy, start to look at what's going on, and put yourself in the mix as well, right? Because it's not just what's happening out there. If you have two bosses that are kind of vying for power, arguing back and forth about who's in charge of this particular project, you have to include yourself in the mix, right? Because you are part of that relationship. There is, in every relationship, it's you, me, and our relationship, right? That's the third entity. And if you're talking about two bosses, it's your relationship with boss one and your relationship with boss two, their relationship with each other. But then there's also this entity here, right? And so you want to take the time to read the energy, to include yourself. Sometimes what we have to do, like in that kind of situation, is we have to ask for help for everybody, right? It's not just help for Jasmine, my dog. It's also help for me, and it's help for my husband, and it's help for my son because he was here. You know, any part of him that might have been worried or concerned or not sleeping well or anything like that, right? We have to look out for all of us, and that includes ourselves. So in that situation, step back, ask for some help, ask for some assistance for yourself, ask for some assistance for the people that are involved there, and then wait. That's the hardest part, right? Waiting. Oh dear Lord, I could tell you how hard that is. Because last night I knew that there was a lot of waiting here. And if it was during the day, the dog would just be like kind of dozing in and out and kind of hanging out, just waiting to see what her body was going to do. But I would be busy going and running and doing, and like it wouldn't be quite such a epic event because it was 1 o'clock in the morning. That's sitting watching. Okay, what are we doing now? Should I turn on the TV? No, don't turn on the TV. Just keep watching this. Just keep watching this. Be willing to wait. Be willing to take the time to let the next step fall in, to let the next piece of information fall in. That it's like you don't know what to do next, and then suddenly you do. And I know every single person who watches this video has had that experience. You have no idea what you're going to do about this particular situation, and then suddenly you go, oh, now I know what I'm going to do. That happened to us this weekend. My husband wasn't sure if he was going to be going to a Shiva. Shiva is the kind of reception after a funeral. And he kept saying, I don't know if I'm going to go. I don't know if I'm going to go. And then suddenly I watched the information come in for him. And he's like, oh, I'm going. Yes, you know what you're going to be doing next. You can ask for help from anyone that works for you. There's a lot of people who like to ask for help from their angels. There's people that like to ask for help from Source, Creator, God, whatever you call that entity. You know, I say I'm asking Source for assistance. I'm asking for help from people that I know that can help me take care of this, because we all have that too. We all have our friends that we can call on and say, hey, I'm really struggling here. Can you help me? Now, some of our friends are going to show up and start waving their hands, right? And others of our friends are going to call us on the phone and chat with us and help us talk our way through it. It doesn't really matter what your method is. It is most important that you get help, right? That you ask. Sometimes you might be calling on the phone, right? There might be a case where you have a situation going on where you're calling a suicide prevention hotline, or you're calling somebody else that's external that has information for what you're doing. Just ask for help. Sometimes that is the hardest thing for us to do. The hardest thing for us to do is to ask for help. I teach a class, and the students in the class, it's an online class, the people in the class, one of the hardest things for them to do is to ask for help. To remember that they can text somebody and say, hey, I need help. That's I don't even know how you would call that low frequency, but that frequency is really low. The one that says, I can do it on my own. I don't need any help. I don't want to bother that person. They're too busy, right? Whatever we call that frequency, if anybody has a name for it, feel free to pop it into the chat. But that idea that we have to go it alone, holy moly, is that a really low frequency that we want to move more of? We don't want to keep those kinds of things around. We definitely want to heal those. So this process that we're talking about, what to do when things go crazy, is, take a step back and remember to read the energy and to give yourself the help that you need, to ask for help, to remember that you don't have to do it alone. And then that next piece is actually take people with you. Take people with you. And I don't always mean physically. Sometimes I just mean take them with you through your phone. I've already been in conversation with several of my friends. Hey, I could use some help here. I know this is going to be a tough thing for me. Can you help me here? Take people with you. It's one of the reasons why we have so many people here on the planet, is we want to take people with us. And the last piece that I hear is part of this process is to laugh when you can. I started this out this morning pretty much laughing because my dog is laying down next to me, and she has had a miserable 24 hours of being sick, whether it was the food or something else, being sick, and she's just been sitting here passing gas like an old man. And I've got to laugh about it. Look, it was 3 minutes before I was supposed to be getting on and chatting with you guys. I'm like, I have no freaking idea what exactly I'm going to be talking about, but I do know I can laugh about the fact that I've got this old dog sitting here just passing gas. It's just entertaining. So we want to remember that we are way more powerful than we think. We have so much access to help and assistance in so many different ways. And there is always somebody that we can turn to. And we can always count on ourselves. We can always trust that we can get the information. Probably not in our time frame. Probably not before you go to bed at night. Probably you may get it at 2 o'clock in the morning when, old women pass gas too. They just don't let anybody know about it. So it can absolutely, we can absolutely know that we can help ourselves. We can get our own information. We may have to wait for it. We may have to ask for assistance from somebody in the physical or somebody in the energetic. We just want to trust that we have access to that, right? That we can handle this, that we have what we need. That's really the biggest point for all of this. And I love that it just comes back to us and all of our friends, right? All of our friends are just, for those of you that are having a struggle today, I would love to help. I would love to help you with whatever that is. Feel free to send me a message or drop me a line somewhere through Facebook. And for all of us to just remember that things don't have to be crazy, that we can stop, read the energy, give ourselves healings, help ourselves, take our friends along, right? Take our friends along and definitely laugh about it, because I am definitely going to be laughing for the next couple of days about how bizarre today was. And I will definitely catch up with how Jasmine is doing. As an aside, she did eat a little bit of food this morning and she's kind of sleeping, so I think we're good to go. I absolutely love you all, and I appreciate you showing up and having some fun with me. Take care. Have a great week.